the Football Pod on Off the Ball in partnership with AIB, proud sponsors of the Football, Hurling and Camogie All-Ireland Club Championships. Hashtag the toughest.
Hello there, and you're very welcome along to episode 28 of the Football Pod. Paddy, how you doing?
Very good, lads.
Jimmy?
Tommy? Paddy? How are you all?
You confirmed? Look at lads, what a weekend.
Great form after a great weekend.
Yeah, are we all back? Are we all on the island of Ireland, finally?
We are.
We're back, baby. The global travels are finished for the until next week.
I'm away next week, did I tell you that?
No.
I'm only joking.
No more holidays during championship, lads. You can't be having this.
I have 2 more holidays before the All-Ireland final.
Okay. Right.
Do you actually?
I hope it's on a
sorry, I actually am. I'm over your neck of the woods. I'm over in West Clare this weekend.
Oh, we'll take
Big
that.
family gig. Yeah. And Clare are playing Kilkenny in the hurling on Sunday. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is it Saturday or Sunday?
It's Sunday.
Where would you and any pod listeners, more hurling pod listeners probably, if you're going for a few pints on Sunday with the whole all cousins, you name it, there's about 25 Andrews is going over to West Clare.
Whereabouts in West Clare?
Just get a shuttle bus down to Clare.
I might. I'll spin that to the wife. I'll be back in 8 hours. Now we're staying in Dublin, but we'll be knocking around the Hinch and Doonbeg as well. So
all right, lovely. Well then,
if you're in the Hinch on Sunday, where would you go? Where's a good spot? Or where? You tell me, T. It's your neck of the woods.
Oh, there's a couple of good spots in Lahinch. Have I drank there before? I haven't, but I know there's a couple of good bars in the middle of the town. When you're in Doolin, there's a couple of decent bars there.
O'Connor's?
Yeah. You're asking the wrong man. You're asking the wrong man, Paddy. I haven't drank over that side of the country yet. I've only gone to the beaches over there. But I'm sure
where's the best beach then? Where's the best beach?
Fenor is my favourite beach. It's a little bit further up.
Malbay, where's that?
Miltown Spanish Point is lovely. You go to Spanish
I know
Point.
Spanish Point. I've stayed in Armagh before.
Miltown Malbay around the corner there. You got a couple of good points. I think the Willie Clancy Festival is on this weekend as well.
It is. It's in the Armagh.
Ah, lad. You're going to
where's it? Where's Fenor Beach?
Fenor is about 10 minutes further north of Doolin. So, lovely beach.
Oh, yeah. And that's
Keep
the
an eye
number
out for
one.
Jellyfish. That's my favourite one. That's my favourite one in West Clare.
I'll quote with you on that. Tourism Clare.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the beach. And where am I going for a point for the Clare-Kilkenny match?
Where are you going to watch that game?
Pod listeners.
Come back out to set rights. Come back out to set rights in Cratloe. That's the where to go. You'll be looked after there.
It's not about looked at. Where's the crowd going to be? The banner. I want to be drinking a pint with Dalo and Gerlock Nan, like.
Oh well, why don't you go to Dalo's pub then, over by
Where's Dalo's Murphy Browns? Where's that?
It's a bit further away, I think.
I have to mute Dalo on Twitter. He's fucking promoting that thing so much, like.
The Kilrush Road, I think. So that one you'll have to get a bus to. Great spot.
You have to be able to get home as well that evening. No, looking forward to it. But that's my little holiday, but it's in the country. So, and I'm back. I'm ready for a road for the All-Ireland semi-finals in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, good man. We'll enjoy
the favourites didn't all win, which we
no. Our predictions were a little bit off again. Like what we had
3 from 4, 3 from 4, yeah, and we were 2 seconds away from 4 from 4.
Yeah, we were.
Jimmy had a bit of a howler. Jimmy went big on Mayo. Magic.
I must say, I got that badly wrong. Because I didn't actually realise that Dublin were going to be that good. I think that was my main mistake.
Do you know what? Like, your man.
Dublin were better than I thought they were going to be. A good bit better. Now, at the same time, their full back line was under savage pressure in the first half. I mean, they were in trouble. They could see the 8 points in about 5 minutes.
You keep going after this full back line.
Sure, they changed. The Merchant had to go on to Tommy Conroy. They put someone else back. They definitely changed their system at half time as well.
Another clean
to protect
sheet,
them. Yeah, but they tidied right up second half. But that's a sign of a great team that you can actually just change and adapt, especially at half time. Just get in and change it up. But no, I was very impressed with Dublin. Our Mayo, very disappointed. But
is it fair to say
architects of their own downfall again? 2 goals were diabolical as well.
Is it fair to say that regardless of Kerry's statement that they made on Saturday, and that was impressive, and we'll come back to that.
Very impressive. Yeah.
What we saw from Dublin, given what Mayo showed us in the first half, was even more impressive.
Mm-hmm. You could argue.
We were just chatting. Was that off air, Jimmy? Before we came on, I actually thought Kerry were the most impressive team of the weekend. Genuinely, I just thought from where. Yeah, I just thought Kerry were the most impressive. Dublin first half, I thought was brilliant. The first half of Dublin Mayo, I thought was the best period of football over the whole weekend. in terms of just the intensity in the game. And you're right, Jimmy, I agree. The first half, I thought Mayo probably shaded that first half, even though Dublin went in a point up.
They had all the ball.
Yeah, and they were caught. I agree. Like Ryan O'Donoghue scores 3 points from play. Tommy Conroy gets 2. Aidan O'Shea, when he's playing inside, is causing Davy Byrne all sorts of problems. And the one thing I'd love to know from Mayo, 5 minutes before half time, I see Aidan O'Shea back in his own half, and I was like, lovely, as a Dublin fan.
Yeah.
Why that happened, whether that was him coming out because Reap was under a bit of pressure himself, or whether it was McStay called it or whatever, and then taking him off 10 minutes into the second half, and everyone's going, oh, look, there goes O'Shea. Conceding 1-4 in the first 5 minutes of the second half has nothing to do with Aidan O'Shea.
Exactly. It's typical. Take off the corner forward.
Yeah,
that drives me mad.
So it was, and I have to say, that Aidan O'Shea at different stages throughout the season was excellent. When we spoke on this pod so many bloody times, play him inside, give him a defined role, and look how good he was. And then you start mixing it up and dragging him in and out. It's messing with his own head. It's messing with the structure of the Mayo team. I tell you what, the Dublin team were delighted seeing him going back into his own half. So whoever made that call or whatever way that happened, it's not Aidan O'Shea is the scapegoat for Mayo. I think there was a malfunction across the board. I thought the O'Hara matchup before Conor Basquel, I just do not like
before
that
the game,
matchup.
Paddy, that man was ill last week. He couldn't even make the bus.
He should not have been. I don't like signal guys, but that is just not a good matchup. And the Hessian should be in from the start. Just
what was wrong with Hessian that he didn't start Hessian?
It hasn't started him a lot of games this year. It's been a funny one. Like McStay has stayed with a similar team for much of this year.
If you look at the Dubs did with Newcombe, Dublin had this thing and they took Newcombe out.
Yeah,
it didn't do anything wrong, but it was not a good fit for the way Mayo were going to line up. Newcombe's played every game, and they go, we need to bring Davy Byrne in, who's been injured, but physically, and Davy Byrne still struggled with O'Shea in the first half, but it was a call that had to be made. The matchups, we've said it so many times. I remember talking to Dublin Mayo semi-final 2 years ago, myself and Andy Moran were on this show, and the matchups are so critical, and that was one that was just didn't like the look of it at all.
But you remember Basquel's first point where someone put an outside of the boot kind of well out under the Hogan, and he literally didn't even have to do a sidestep. He just ran past him and chipped it over. It was the easiest point I've ever seen in the All-Ireland quarter-final. It was just... But the thing is with Dublin, when you have 6 scoring forwards like that, eventually you're running out of markers. Like that's why I say load the half forward line with scorers as well, because they need minding. Load the full forward line. As soon as you start playing defenders up front, you'll make it easier for the opposition.
James, you've been there before, right? Can I ask you, when Ryan O'Donoghue is playing so well in the first half, we mentioned Aidan O'Shea and how the influence he was having in those couple of big moments. Tommy Conroy burned the Dublin defence for 1 point. James McCarthy hacks him down for a yellow card for another one. He had struck fear into them, and Conroy looked like this is the boy that we saw in Croke Park in 2021. In the second half, Conroy barely touches the ball, I think, for about 20 minutes. Aidan is taken off. Ryan O'Donoghue missed the free. He's not in the game at all. When you're a forward who's in form, how are the Dubs so good at reacting and taking you out of that form and just changing things?
It was nothing. I don't think it was anything that the Dublin defence did. It was Dublin's attack and midfield got so physical and stopped the ball coming down. But at the same time, I would say Mayo waved the white flag there after the second goal. It was a case of we're not winning this, and the effort levels definitely dropped. So if they could have hung in there during Dublin's purple patch, which they always have in the championship quarter, as they call it, in that third quarter, if they could hang in there, just keep the score down, and they'd have come again like they always do. But there was too much damage done. The heads went down.
Did you see the thing, Jimmy? It was like, and this is obviously, it's new. This championship structure is new to everyone, and we're kind of going, what's the best way to approach this championship? Is it through the back door and loads of games so you're battle hardened, or is it come in like Dublin and Kerry at the weekend, be kind of plodding along, but you're fresh and you're top of the group? And you got the sense Tyrone and Mayo have had that really arduous week on week on week on week, and both of those teams were completely, they had nothing in the second half. And you know, lads, it's very hard. You can be tired, but if you get a goal or you're in the lead, you find energy from somewhere.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go behind, it nearly doubles your tiredness. It's so hard. You're like, it nearly hits you at once. But we're knackered here. We can't get it back. And you just got the sense. Kerry scored the first 4 points in the second half on Saturday evening, and we were watching it at the time and just said, this could be 10 points here. You could just see it. Tyrone are finished. And the same with Mayo when Callanan has his bit of mishap along the end line and Dublin get that goal, it was just like, forget about it.
That was awesome. But that was awesome from Mannion and Costello. Even
brilliant from Costello, not to
chip
panic
it up
and square it. Yeah. It was just the composure. The chip up is grand, that's skillful, but you're thinking you could lash at that and go, I'm going to try and score this myself. But he waits. He
tried it. He tried his very best to get it himself. He tried his very best.
Jimmy, but he didn't pull the trigger. He passed it across the Pascal.
I was thinking that they were going to fall into each other and be a square ball.
I thought he was going to fall over.
But if, say, with the square ball thing, he carried it into the square, Costello.
Don't ask me what the
Which means no matter what happened, it was fine, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Goff was the ref anyway, so it was grand.
Oh, it was. He was getting the green flag for the umpire while Camden was still going over the ball.
But you know,
if you think about what Mayo actually gave Dublin, do you remember Reap came out and kicked the ball straight to, was it to Fenton? They got a point in the first half. Yeah. Then they gave him the 2 goals with very poor defending. You need to be on the other side of that.
They gave them the first goal. The first goal was bad defending, but it was
shocking defending.
But it was shocking. What we said, Jimmy, and this is so rare. We were watching it, and there was a couple of people, David Fitzmaurice up in the press book talking about it, and it was like, it's so rare you see just 50-yard kick passes just kicked inside to the square. Because usually there's 2 or 3 extra defenders, but Mayo were going man to man.
But he caught it. He caught it into his belly button.
Yeah, I know it was bad defending.
It was misread.
It was what we're crying out for from Dublin. Just or not just Dublin, all the teams. Kick the bloody thing. I'll tell you, we're calling for Armagh to do it on Saturday night. Please, God, kick the thing inside. Just maybe once in every 5 plays. And to be fair, Mannion just sees it and he goes bang, I'm putting it in. And yeah, it's bad.
It was Davy Byrne.
Was it not Mannion? I thought it was Mannion.
No, Davy Byrne hacked it in with the outside of his left boot to Pascal.
Are you certain on that?
1000% sure.
Okay. Well, even better. Davy Byrne puts it in, and it's bad defending, but it's just that take a chance.
Can I
2-on-2 or 3-on-3? Put it in.
Can I make a point about that, right? And it was kind of funny at the weekend. Shane McGuigan didn't have a great day at the office.
Not in front of the post, no.
David Clifford, despite that amazing moment we might come back to a little later on, was relatively quiet. Conor Callaghan was relatively quiet, but something that we give David Clifford savage praise for all the time is his ability to bring other forwards into the game and create space for him. I thought it was quite telling that David McBrien was pulled out to the 45 a number of times, and Pascal and Costello were left inside with Coyne and O'Hara, and the ball was played into them. It was like that. Was that a set play, Paddy? That Con is pulling the big man out, and
might have been. Yeah, it might have been. Because definitely even at the start of the second half, he was dropping out as well. And Con did massive damage at centre forward against Kildare. Remember that game in Nolan Park as well. I actually think McBride did quite well on Con. There was 2 occasions in the first half where it was 1-on-1.
Held them
and
up.
Dublin are always. We are thinking get him 1-on-1 with anyone, and we're in business. And the crowd was anticipating, and McBride did really, really well. So that's a matchup that went well for Mayo. You have to give credit for it. On the cliff, I agree. It wasn't his best day in front of the post. Jimmy, you were saying 2 from 9?
No, I think someone tweeted that he had. I think he had maybe 6 wides. I think, or including short and wide, about 6. I think.
But I'll tell you now, Clifford had from 23 possessions, he converted 1 of 9 shots in open play.
1 of 9 shots
in open play. But he also had the 2 shots, the 2 shots in goal.
The best thing about that though is he kept kicking. He kept kicking. It's like this is my house. I'm kicking whether you like it or not.
But genuinely, he is brilliant. He just naturally attracts defenders and stuff. And we get to the amazing piece of skill in a minute. But I was looking at that game, and you're going, Clifford's the man there. Darren McCurry's the man for Tyrone at the other end. Yeah. And even though Clifford wasn't electric in front of the post, he was causing all sorts of havoc.
He was.
Lincoln plays, getting like lots of possessions. McCurry at the other end, and I'm a big fan of McCurry, and I've picked him up a lot of times. I was behind the goal for that first half. Tyrone were shooting into the hill. I was very, very, very disappointed.
Why?
Lack of movement. Now maybe they're tired after a couple of weeks, but there's times where Ty Morty did an excellent job of dropping back and front, but there's kick passes on there. You gotta move for that, McCurry. You gotta go. And there's first ball that comes in, he's in front and he fumbles it, and Foley gets it, and there's a big roar and he gets out. I don't think McCurry wins another ball for the rest of the game.
Foley's so quick as well.
But you know what I mean?
Sometimes against Foley, what McCurry needed there, right? And this is almost the downside of, say, the size of the Tyrone full forward line. What McCurry needed there was someone to win it for him and just dish it. Do you know? Because sometimes you need one or two to get you into the game on a tight marker like that. He didn't have any. He didn't have any of that.
But he's brilliant on the loop and all. And sure, all forwards, anyone worth their salt in senior to county forward is decent on the loop. There's times you got to go and win the ball. You got to move.
Yeah,
you got to make that run, and there was no runs, none, zero. And I'm going, you got to show. He's not showing, and that was so disappointing. And that's what I mean. We know McCurry's a killer when the opportunity's there. So is Clifford. But even though Clifford wasn't up in front of the post, he offered so much more in his game to the team, and I was so disappointed in McCurry's performance on Saturday because he didn't offer anything. If he didn't score, he was doing nothing else. And he ended up doing nothing else.
Did that not shine through the entire Tyrone team? Were they not just eaten alive?
Yeah, but I'm saying McCurry's the main man, Tommy. There's a responsibility with being the big dog, and that was disappointing. But yeah, I agree. It was 9-6 at half time, and Tyrone were hanging on by their fingernails, and this was a credit to Kerry because Kerry were outstanding defensively, and in the middle third were being questioned. But the only thing keeping Tyrone even remotely in the mix was bits of individual brilliance. Rory Canavan gets 2 scores, Derek Canavan gets an absolute peach, but there was no tactics in that. There was no teamwork in that. That was just the little guys are geniuses. We know that. But the Kerry defensive system completely enveloped Tyrone's attacking game plan. And Tyrone were really, really passive. Like you're looking at the template, Mayo against Kerry and Killarney, run at them. And they are trying to put their fingers in the dam. Or Mark O'Shea trying to keep the tide out, is his favourite saying. And Kerry were struggling with that. And Tyrone, they did it once in the first half. Michael McKiernan gets a score off it. And you're thinking, that's the play. That's one man run, the next man run, the next man run. It's energy, but it's brave as well. And I just got the sense Tyrone were so preoccupied with going, we put one guy half up, but then Hampsey and Peter Hart and Donnelly and all these guys were just staying around the arc just in case we lose it because they've got Clifford.
Well, James,
I got the sense the week from Tyrone was, how do we try and stop Kerry?
Yeah.
And there was no real attacking plan for that game.
did you see the stat, James? This is the tally touch. Did you see the stat that Tyrone scored 2-9 from turnovers in 2021? And at the weekend, by the 46th minute, Kerry had turned over Tyrone's attack 16 times inside their own 45. And they scored 111 from turnovers overall. Like, it was unbelievable turnaround. Before I ask you about that, can you talk to me about the aggression you saw from the Kerry players?
It's the same. It's basically the same question, because that's exactly why they were turning him over, and you could tell the way a team is mentally by the way they react to a turnover. Every turnover they got, they were delighted with it, you know, and you could tell the kind of the bond and the unity you get from those massive turnovers, especially in a big game, and especially against a Tyrone. Because if you are turned over by Tyrone, you were going to hear about it and you were going to feel it on the ground, you know. So I think Kerry kind of flipped the script on them there, and they were absolutely mad for turnovers. Shawnee Shea was getting back, turning fellas over. Diarmuid O'Connor, time and time again, got back to turn people over. And in fairness to all the Kerry backs, they came out on top. But the one thing we said here last week was that the Tyrone midfield was arguably one of the best in the country. And Jesus, Kerry turned the tide on him. Like, Diarmuid O'Connor put in an unbelievable display. And if you look then at the Tyrone as they rely on, Adrian Stan's brilliant as well, got 2 points, got through unbelievable amount of work. But Peter Hart looked leggy, Donnelly looked very leggy, and then they had Myler stuck to Paddy Clifford, so he wasn't doing his usual job. And with Diarmuid O'Connor taking Kilpatrick out of it, that was it. There was just nothing left for them.
Hey,
and just
talk to us about Paddy Clifford.
Diarmuid O'Connor, well, just on that, Diarmuid O'Connor was absolutely exceptional.
Yeah.
The
composure for the goal, for the dummy.
Jimmy, he always has the technical stuff though, don't we? Like, he's a brilliant technical player. You could always see that with him. But like, he was an animal on Saturday night.
He was.
It was like a personal. It was like Michael Jordan from The Last Dance, and I took that personally.
Yeah.
When people
he
were
must
picking
have,
up
because
that
they've been getting criticised. They've been getting it in the neck.
He got about 10 turnovers. He was unbelievable himself.
Hold on
he
a
was
second.
like lording it. Like, I loved it.
Rightfully so. They were bullied by Mayo and Killarney. That's the Diarmuid O'Connor we want to see.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need. That's why I say sometimes a loss at a younger age is good. You need that. They're doubting me. They don't. Do you know what is it? And that's what keeps you up at night. And you're just looking at the ceiling, going, "When is this game going to come?" Like, that's what I think. That's what Diarmuid O'Connor went through over the last 2 weeks.
The only reason Tyrone won the All Ireland in 2021 was Jimmy said they were shy. You actually should get a medal for that. They should send that down. Ever since that, they haven't kicked the ball. Like,
no, they haven't. But no, they did well to win that one. But No, Kerry
Jimmy-
Kerry just ate them up.
Yeah.
Jimmy joined the pod the year after.
Oh, did he? Well, first thing he said there. Tyke Morley was excellent as well defensively. I think.
Tyg was, but
Really
do you
good.
know what cost
There was
Tyrone
the-
as well? Their frees. They needed to stay in the game, and they were dropping their free short and kicking them wide, and every little missed chance there when you're chasing the game is just another dagger. And Kerry
Why
were
did
coming up
Paddy-
and punishing him.
Why did Paddy Clifford play like an utter lunatic? It was class to see.
How do you mean?
He's just everything. He was
He
just
25
everything.
rows with Conor Moyler.
It was amazing to watch. It was nearly like a throwback to nearly Galvin back in the day.
Yeah,
That's exactly. It reminded me of Galvin and Ono
I
O'Leary.
stole that from Andy Moore, and I was talking earlier on today.
Did he say that as well?
Yeah.
But I think the Paddy would have come into the game knowing that Myler, or people were saying even that Myler was keeping him quiet, and he had to say, "I have to come at this differently. What am I going to do?" So definitely, I would have said, do you remember they were on the ground rolling and they both got booked at the same time? Or no, just Myler got booked actually that time. But that should have been nearly the first thing he did. Just get Myler on that yellow, and it would have put him in the world of pain. But they were just at each other all day. And they almost cancelled each other out, because two great players, they cancelled each other out.
I thought Paddy won that battle. I thought Paddy was
He
more
did.
effective than Myler. It was easier because his team was well on top as well.
But I mean, for Tyrone Myler didn't get through anything really, and for Tyrone to lose that was huge. It had a huge bearing on the game. And Paddy got a great score in the first half, won a free. Yeah, no, Paddy was in the game all the time, but
That's
the
what I
only
mean.
way to
Paddy
be
won
dealing
that
with that
battle.
close attention is to highlight it to the ref. You know, get yourself a booking, get them a booking. Even if that goes into next year. Say if they're playing each other in a big game next year, the ref is going to know about Myler and Paddy Clifford before throwing.
Jimmy, the whole stadium knew. So
Yeah.
like if the ref didn't realise what was happening, every
Yeah.
single the 60,000 people in Croke Park were watching this going, the boys are at it again. Like.
Yeah,
The
but
ball's out the other end.
that's favouring Paddy. That's one up for Clifford, like, because the defender, if 100%, if the ref is on the defender and
Oh,
trying
no,
to
the
book him,
ref, but I don't think the
It
ref
felt like-
was on top of it. Like.
It felt like Paddy was the aggressor, though, in a really good way. I felt like Kerry were the aggressors on Tyrone.
Everywhere.
Throughout. Everywhere.
That's that point, Jimmy, you were saying that you're right. They got a turnover. It might actually be McCurdy again. Just on inside the Kerry D, and Jason Foley runs in, and it was like, I think the ref actually went over to Foley. I thought he was actually going to book him or throw the ball up, because he was like, it was Tyrone-esque response. And it was just like, Kerry, this is a different Kerry from what we've seen here today. Like, to think of that performance, was it 6 weeks ago in Killarney? They were a shadow of themselves.
Different
They
animal,
were like
yeah.
a pub team. No energy, no intensity, no turnovers. And then they came to Croke Park on Saturday night, and we thought we were talking about statement performances. That was like, and like without the cliff even being full cliff, Kerry were awesome.
and what I did enjoy the style of play as well, both in the Dublin Mayo game and the Kerry game. The amount of kicking, just kick passing, and one thing that Kerry do very well, and I noticed it, unbelievable way of
Skills
getting
pay
out
the
of
bills,
defence.
Jimmy.
They do.
Skills pay the bills.
But when they're getting out of defence, Graham O'Sullivan was lining up at 2, but he was actually marking Donnelly for a lot of it.
Yeah, Donnelly.
He was making runs long up the field and wide to give Kerry that kicking option out of defence, and it just got them out of trouble so many times. In the end, he was so bollocks, they ended up dropping 2 in the trot at the end, because he was just after doing it so many times.
He ran 20 kilometres on Saturday
Yeah,
night.
he put in some effort. Just get ahead of the ball and be an outlet. Oh, if I was
Donegal
coaching a
used
team,
to-
I'd
Donegal
say it
used
to
to
every
do that,
cornerback.
Jimmy.
Yeah. And because your forward is knackered from chasing it, and as well, they're not switched on to that run. So realistically, you're going to have a 5 or 10 yard head start before they even realise you after making the run. And then he actually has a second pass in him. He can kick it on or he can carry it. It's so dangerous and so worthwhile.
On that point, Jimmy, this is a tactical thing. Lots of teams dropping bodies back. You turn the team over. Like, example, Derry don't do this. They'll keep the ball and just wait really, really slow for everyone to get set. Tyrone got loads of bodies back, and then they got a turnover. They had no one up the pitch. They couldn't transition quickly. They were too knackered, and nobody was bursting to get up there. We used to do this with Dublin, and it didn't matter who it was. We needed to get structure up front straight away. Someone, it doesn't matter if it's the wing back. You sprint up the pitch and get up the corner forward. Get up to the 21.
By
and
structure,
give
how
us-
many players are you saying?
Ideally, you try and get 6, but minimum 4.
Jeez,
you
yeah.
turn it. You'd have 14, 15 guys back inside your own 65, and you get a turnover. We need at least 4 guys. Whoever the highest 4 sprint. You're not. Don't look for a hand pass. get up the pitch and
Get ahead of the ball.
give us an option and give us structure up there. And Kerry did that excellently the other night.
Yeah.
And it allows for faster transition. It's hard work. Donegal did this brilliantly under McGuinness. They got us a couple of times with Dublin. I remember running after Anthony fucking Thompson. And he's not even looking for the ball. He doesn't even want it. He's just bringing it on. I have to run 120 yards here. Paddy Durkin from Mayo. Mayo used to do this to us as well. I'm going, would you ever give it over, mate? You don't even want it, like. But you had to go with it. And that's Kerry were brilliant at it. And it was like, that's an attitude as well. It's an energy. It's like, we are better than you. We're going after you guys. We're going to win this game. And
that's actually a great idea. And it stretches the play. It stretches the play
Stretches
and gives
the
the person
play.
on the ball back the field.
Space.
More options and more time, more space.
It's so important. Get your structure. Anyone, just get up there. Don't be standing around waiting for a 5-yard hand pass and congesting the whole thing. Like, get out of there.
Yeah. One telling point from Christy O'Connor's piece in the Examiner. Do you want to go on?
I want to, because I really want to slate the shy performances from the weekend.
Hold on.
Unbelievably defensive.
Let me just finish.
The best teams, and I've said it, and I get lip over this, you cannot win the All-Ireland by parking the bus. You got to go for it. You can't try and not lose it. You got to go and win the game. And that's what I was chatting with Joe Malloy yesterday, and I was shitting myself at half-time in the Dublin Mayo match because Dublin were open and they were pushing the kick-outs, and if they lost them long, and they did lose a couple long, they were under severe pressure. I was like, would you not just say drop a sweeper back? No. Why? Drop it, and you might scrape by that win, but that'll cost you down the road. You got to go for it. You're trying to win the game.
Can I add to that? Christy O'Connor had a piece in the Examiner today. In that opening half of Dublin Mayo, there were 40 kick passes in open play. After the break, there were just 19. The breakdown of those numbers are even more interesting. Of those 40 kick passes in the opening half, 22 were kicked into the forwards. Dublin scored 2-6 from balls kicked into their attack. Mayo scored 4 points from balls kicked into their attack, all in the first half. So clearly Dublin kept kicking the ball in, but somehow they stopped Mayo being able to kick the ball in. So that was something Dublin obviously identified at half-time. They needed to shut down the flow.
Definitely.
You touched on it, Jimmy. Dublin's midfield was awesome in the second half. That midfield battle between Dermot O'Connor and Ruan and Fenton and McCarthy completely cancelled each other out in the first half. It was such an odd one because both kickouts were going long.
Yeah.
So you think someone's going to dominate here. None of them. I think McCarthy gets a score in the first half. He gets a shot off a rebound. None of the other three midfielders have a shot. There was no big fetches. There was no. They just weren't really impacting the game, despite kickouts going long. And Dublin's second half press and McCarthy was off the charts.
Unbelievable.
Fenton, best second half we've seen from this season as well. And that gave Dublin the platform. Mayo didn't have the ball to kick it in. Dublin didn't bring a sweeper back. They didn't do that. It was still the same matchups, Davy Byrne and Merchant and O'Donoghue, Fitzy inside and Tommy Connery, but Mayo just couldn't get the ball inside. And that was...
They had no possession to get in. They just
that
had
was the
no
midfield
ball second half.
platform.
Yeah.
As good as Dermot O'Connor was, and I love James McCarthy, but Dermot O'Connor was unbelievable at Saturday for Kerry. James McCarthy's second half performance at Dublin yesterday. My God. He's older than me. And he's still doing it. What a player.
Can we put it into context for a second, right? Because I have memories of 2017 and Parsons and Shamey O'Shea chasing down James McCarthy up and down the pitch and sticking with him that day, right?
He got man of the match in that final.
Yeah, absolutely. James McCarthy is 6 years older. And he's been chased down by Dermot O'Connor and Matthew Ruan. And he's still destroying them.
Tommy Conroy running after him. I was like, Tommy Conroy's going to catch him. And he couldn't. I was like, what is going on here?
What is going on?
I don't know.
James, what do you make of James McCarthy? We know how much Paddy loves him.
I do. I think he's a savage player. At first half, all right, I was thinking this fella's finished. If I'm being honest.
What?
I swear
this is a disgrace.
When he took Dominic Conroy out of it, I was like, oh fucking hell. It was almost like I'm not running back after this fella.
I wouldn't run after Tommy Conroy.
Second half, he was probably the best player on the field. Second half, gets 2 points, drives through the middle to win a free. Physical in defence, strong in the air. He did it all second half. I would say that he was fantastic. So James McCarthy, sure, we did the teams of best Dublin and Kerry teams ever. He's there, he's on it, he's an icon. But there are moments where he can probably be got at defensively if teams can be cute enough with him.
But isn't that's still my worry from Dublin at the weekend. That first half, it's not just it's Dublin. You still feel that was a statement win, and we were waiting for it. And the second half in particular was big performances. Mannion, a couple of points from play, bit of impact off the bench, all that good stuff. But there's still that. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a full 70-minute performance, and that's why I was kind of saying I'm not trying to blow smoke up anyone here. I thought Kerry's overall performance was probably still the best performance of the weekend.
Tyrone were meeker though. Tyrone were meeker.
Yeah, possibly. And Mayo obviously were in the second half as well. But we were saying, and it was funny here, all season we've been having this being the most open championship ever. And it's shaping up.
Carried up the
and it's shaping up. You're going to have the most traditional of finals on the 30th of July. Now, Derry and Monaghan are obviously going to say something about that, and we'll talk about those their quarter-final wins now in a minute. But on the basis of the weekend, what we've just seen, we're saying this is the weekend. We're going to find out who's who. Kerry and Dublin are by a stretch, the standout teams from all 8 teams on show at the weekend. Do you disagree, Tommy? You're raising the eyebrow. You think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
It's funny.
We're being real.
It's funny you mentioned Derry and Monaghan there because there were 2 other games this weekend in the All-Ireland.
And we're going to get to that now.
Yeah,
we're going to get to that now.
I think
what is this?
I think you can forgive us. I think you can forgive us for getting to this because it was like it was 2 different sports at the weekend. I felt like that between the Derry Monaghan wins. The structure of those games were quite similar. Now Monaghan Armagh, I felt it was score for score. You were crying out for Armagh to go for it. Monaghan managed to win that game with a 40-ish scoring conversion rate. And still managed to win.
Yeah, to be fair, the wind was all over the place. No one could get a hold of that wind. Sure, Clifford was 1 from 9 or whatever he was. Then everyone else is going to find it difficult. Both ends of Croke Park pitch where the wind was playing havoc. It was swirling. You didn't know where you were.
I tell you what, Jimmy, I went out and kicked the ball over the bar from the top of the day.
You did a pure Dublin kick, just scraped over. If that was in a match, Mannion would have fucking palmed it in.
I was in skin-tight pants and a pair of runners, and from the top of the D and into that breeze, and I swung it over. I was going to text the Cliff and go, Cliff.
Murphy got a sweet one, didn't he?
Murphy got 2. Oh my God, then he hit it over the net. I was like, how are you still not playing for Donegal? Like, he'd be our best player by a mile.
Hey, from James McCarthy though to Conor McManus. Let's just start with Conor McManus.
Could I say in defence of that game, Tommy, because I'm going to go to town and Armagh on it here in a minute. The last 2 minutes of extra time and the penalty shootout was the most dramatic piece of action over the whole weekend. Kerry Tyrone, Dublin Mayo, no one else had a patch on Rian O'Neill, outside of the right, overtime, and it's there, and the Armagh, Croke Park, it was amazing noise, and that's it. Monaghan fans head in hands, and they let it play, and they're thinking, no, there's not a chance here. And they get the free, and sure enough, McManus.
I give you my
what a man, what a player, what a moment, unbelievable.
My plan for that, right? We watched the first. So I was at the Kerry Tyrone game. We watched the first half of Armagh Monaghan and a bit of the second half, and then we had to get the train down. So Tron Diego anyway was having an absolute nightmare with Diego. I said didn't play more than 20 seconds at a time without another minute.
Pay your broadband. Pay your fucking
There was
broadband.
about 10 of us on the train. We were sharing phones.
Let's hear no there.
When
Rian O'Neill Wi-Fi on the trains.
When Rian O'Neill gets the lead score, and everyone was like, "Oh, Armagh through, job done." I was shocked they conceded a chance after that.
20 seconds. How?
I mean, and Dublin have done this in the past. Again, do you remember against Mayo in the rain where they just started grabbing fellas and just don't let them out?
Kill everyone.
I thought Armagh would do that and just let them take 90 seconds to even get up the field. The fact they left them into the scoring zone, they'll be killing themselves over that.
And hold on, you knew Rory Begum was going short with that free. He couldn't have been more.
Yeah,
obvious.
they were told.
They were told. They were saying one more play, and they were telling everyone, "How do you let Conor McManus get that ball? Like, how do you let McManus get that ball?"
And how Grugan ended up on McManus.
It was more Armagh everyone back. We were actually on the sideline, like 2 feet away from this happening. And the whole stadium was like, one person do not get his hands on this ball. And it was McManus. and he gets it. And he came over and spoke to us afterwards as well. And it was like, once you had that ball in your hand, there was no way he was passing it. He was like, I'm either getting a free or I'm shooting. That is it. And if you're into that breeze and you're he's on the sideline of the Cusack stand, or the Hogan stand. Even if he goes by Grugan, he's running into 5 more Armagh fellas. He's not scoring from there. No chance.
He's finding a free somewhere.
He's looking around. He's like, someone please tackle me. Anyone. He's like, someone just
his own jersey.
Yeah, please touch me. And he's like waiting. And Grugan, who's an experienced player.
He doesn't do much, to be fair. He doesn't do much.
No, McManus wraps his legs around. It's like McManus is trying to give him a lap dance himself. He's like, someone bring me down. But it was just like, you got to know what's happening here. And Armagh, all the preparation, everything. Like I said, Grugan's an experienced player, one of the leaders in that team. It's like, McManus, just don't touch him. Don't touch him. Even if he goes by you, he's not going to go by the other 14 lads right in front of him.
Or make him shoot from play, which is so much harder.
You're not going to score from play. Yeah, there's no space to get the kick. But I'm going to focus on the positive thing for Monaghan. McManus comes on and he's had a hard slog of it this year, boys. Hasn't been playing a lot, not getting a lot of game time.
The hips.
Yeah, all that good stuff. His first play, he kicks an even harder free on his first possession. He gets one on his left peg in the middle, finds space. But that moment, and this is before you even get into scoring 2 top corner penalties. McManus is like, he's 50. He's as old as Cluxton. And it's like, I was delighted for him. I'm not a Monaghan fan, but I love that player. I think we all did. Who loves football loves Conor McManus. And see him, it's hard. Being you were there, Jimmy, you're coming to the end and it's like, we're in the same league as McManus, but you're coming to the end and it's hard. You can't do the things you used to be able to do. And it can be sad for players, and particularly players of that, like the best of the best. You would have had it, Jimmy. I didn't have it, but McManus seeing him and having that moment, I was looking at him, and he puts the 2 penalties in the top corners. Like, what a guy!
I think he was going bottom corner with the second one. When he puts it in the top, he does this little jump, going
under the crossbar. Yeah,
just under the crossbar.
Do you believe in his little theory afterwards that goalkeepers tend to dive low?
Yeah, but getting the ball into the top corner when you're tired is the hardest place to put it.
Because Glass and McFall obviously did it for Derry as well. They went high.
But it's risky as well, Tommy, because it's like the margin for error is so much less. You're a little bit off and the ball skies over the bar.
Yeah.
And that McManus definitely thinks it on the second one. Yeah, you can see the hop. It's like, no!
But it's far easier to roll it along the ground into the bottom corner than it is to put it into the top corner at pace.
Yeah. And to do it twice.
3 penalty shootout, lads. Could be an Ulster Championship and 2 All-Ireland semi-finals for Armagh. Or even if one of them had gone their way, you could be looking at a different story. Kieran McGeeney, been over them for 9 years. Have you sympathy?
No. I have sympathy for Cummiskey missing the penalties. That is heartbreaking for the player, obviously. What an amazing way to win it. But it's a tragic way to lose the games. But I don't think Armagh can blame anyone but themselves for putting themselves in that position. You could say arguably last year, the quarter-final, Galway were probably the better team. Armagh staged a miraculous comeback. Ulster final, they had the winning of the game there. That's a really cagey one. But you can't tell me you put Armagh's 15 players and Monaghan's 15 players. I think Armagh are a better team all day long. And they do not play to that forward strike. They made a change before the match started. They take out Conor Turbot and they put in Joe McElroy, out and out corner forward for a wing back.
Yeah.
And that sets the tone of what they tried to do. Armagh were scintillating at stages through last season. Croke Park suits the players they have. They have forwards who can score, who can win their own ball, who are physical, and they did not play to their strengths at all. And if you play that way, trying not to lose, you are going to keep your opponent in the game. And that's what happened. And you could see it a mile off. I said it 5 minutes in, I was like, this is going to penalties.
It was casted fear, wasn't it?
But if Armagh played and just played to their, what I feel is their player strengths, they will win that game. They will win that game. They're a better team than Monaghan.
They ruled a lot of missed chances early on as well. They had a lot of chances.
They did, that's what I was going to say, Tom. They nearly lost, or they left 2 or 3 goals out there in the first half. There was a ball over the top, I think it was played to McCabe. But to
McCabe, he
McCabe
drops
as
it.
well.
Yeah,
he drops it.
Yes.
And I mean,
Yeah.
right, top team quarterfinal, grab that fucking thing and go for the jugular. But they drop it. Next thing, man, and get bodies back. Chance gone. They don't even get a point out of it.
No,
and then there was another ball put into Duffy, and they could have created a goal chance. And then Grugan dances around the few. Do you remember in the first half as well?
10 lads.
And gets
Stephen
blocked
Campbell
down.
as well.
Turbot
Like
had
the-
a shot saved, didn't he, from Begga in
Yeah,
the second half?
they had these chances.
Turbot,
but
nothing
the quality.
really could do there. Like,
Yeah.
Begga
No,
was
it's
out
fair.
quick. But if
First
you look,
half, though, I think that Armagh left way too much scores out there, and they missed their chance. They should have gone in there 5 or 6 points up at half time, and then they could have managed the game a bit better. But they'd missed their chances there.
what was the score of the game? Outside of McManus, genius.
I know what you're going to say.
Murnin, first half.
Oh, okay.
Didn't even come into his mind.
Armagh kick
Morning first half. Which one was that again?
It's two kick passes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It's
yes.
like the
With
O'Shea.
a midfield, kick pass. Kick pass into Duffy.
Yeah. Duffy
Flicks
was
it
actually
off,
very
Murnin
dangerous
over
first
the
half.
bar. But it was like, Armagh, that's what it is. That's what we've all seen you do. We've seen this group of players do this in Croke Park.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, look how good it is. Look how good you can be. Here's what you could have won. And it's like back to the other side of things. And it's just, that's the point that we was getting all excited about Kerry and Dublin going for it.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it give you some energy as a player?
What?
It would give you some energy as a player if the manager says, lads, let's just put down the handbrake and let's just go for it. Let's just play the way it's supposed to be played. I think the players were rowing behind that so easily. I think that's even why Kerry kind of exploded this weekend. It was case, lads, right, we've been stuttering along. Let's just go and go for it now against Tyrone. There's such a prize there.
And it's not a case, we're not trying to be like the old Graham Souness here back in the olden days and like, you don't need tactics and stuff. You can still play, you still try and engineer a sweeper when the opposition have the ball during transitions and stuff like that. But it's more when you have the ball. Like, it's just so safe. It's like, don't want to do that. I can't kick that because we might lose it.
It's the risks that you need to take.
So what if you lose it? Like, trust that your teammates are going to be set at the back. Trust your defenders to win their one-on-one battles. And it was just for Armagh. You said it, Tommy. They've lost 3 of these games. 3 heartbreaking losses. That happens once. You could say, look at the green.
Yeah.
Rubbed against us there. You can't keep putting yourself in those positions. You have to ask why. And I know McGeeney's having a go at the ref, Conor Lane, that hit by Gary Moan at the end. I have to think, at the time when it happens in the stadium, I was like, nailed on free. He's nearly killed that guy. but they showed the replay. It was shoulder to shoulder. It was a perfect hit.
Yeah.
It was a perfect hit. And yeah,
Risky, but what a hit.
I was ballsy. I'd be like, that is high risk going in for that hit at that moment in the game. But he gets it. And fair play to Conor Lane, gets a couple of things wrong, but that one he got right. But going to the ref and going to penalties aren't fair. I think there's other things you need to be looking at there in terms of how you were in that position in the first place. And I've nothing against there, man. McGeeney's a legend, obviously, iconic player, all that good stuff. But just, I feel Armagh did not play to their strengths, and I think that's cost them.
They could have definitely done more that way. But do you know what? What is another thing that stood out to me was that Conor McCarthy has been so important to Monaghan all year for scores. They left him in for 3.
Hey,
So
I
left
said
him
it
in-
last week.
left him
Surely
in for 3
McCarthy
points.
won't get it.
Yeah.
Surely he won't.
Yeah, you think just limit him, and he actually had a couple of shots in the first half that he missed as well. Like he was going for it. He knew he's there a very important score taker for them, and for him to come out with 3 is disappointing for
But
Armagh.
did they go? It's kind of like they went for Carl O'Connell. They could have went man to man on Carl O'Connell and not McCarthy. It's like we'll go for one or the other. We'll just go for both. McCarron's not going to score much from play.
Maybe McCarthy's a bit cuter in terms of kind of getting the space. He's a forward, like in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah,
he engineered the
fair.
space. One of the shots he got, in fairness, was from a tight angle with the left leg from the 15
Great
yard spot.
scores though as well.
He's a great scorer,
He's come into his own, hasn't he? Coming from that deep position, like
Yes,
you know,
he
when
kind
he
of
was playing
flattered to deceive a bit. We used to
at 11,
always.
when he was playing at 11, like
Yeah, but we used to always say, lads, this fella is a brilliant
he's
player,
a-
Conor
he's a
McCarthy.
scorer.
Let's get on him, and then he mightn't get a kick against you. Do you know, like, so bringing him back a line has transformed him. He's having an unbelievable year.
Top scorers from play in the 2023 championship so far: Collie Pascal 515, Conor Callaghan
5-15.
Conor Callaghan
The
221,
leash game, yeah.
David Clifford 315, Shane McGuigan 119, Darragh Canavan 117, Sean O'Shea 212, and Conor McCarthy 211. So
Jesus.
that just shows you what he's doing.
Did
From
he get
wing
goals
back,
against
that is
Clare? Did he?
incredible.
From wing back.
Clare? Did he get goals against Clare?
Beautiful goal against Clare, and he
what
got
was
a
the other
brilliant,
one?
brilliant goal. You put me on the
2-11
spot now.
from
I
wing
don't
back
remember.
is
Don't remember
magic.
what it was.
He
Tyrone.
got a goal against Derry,
No,
did he?
2 great goals. Yeah,
When
2
they
great
were
goals.
beaten in the Ulster semi-final. Did he get all that?
I forget now.
This is all
So
getting
sorry, give that. That's interesting. This is top scorers from play to date. Pascal is top of the pops.
Pascal top of top. This is done by GA Statsman, Gaelic Statsman on Twitter. Yeah, Pascal 515 top of the pops.
That should be the main scoring record as well.
Yeah,
There should be another one for Freeze.
Frees are irrelevant.
Do you want to hear
Freeze.
the top 10 from Freeze or the top few from
No,
Freeze?
no interest. in
No,
it.
let us guess. Who's the top scorer from Freeze?
Where's that?
McGuigan, no.
Shane McGuigan's just ahead of David Clifford, 246 to 530.
And he missed the penalty yesterday. Missed the pen.
And he
I'd
missed.
say-
If there was ever a
Panenka
Panenka in the locker, it was the last day. The game was over. Keeper was always diving. Just crossbar and down Zidane style.
And then he misses one after from play, doesn't he? Do you know, just one of those days, it's just like, it's not happening for me.
But someone said it on RT after. I forget who said it. I think it was Tomas. He is under pressure now for that semi-final. And we love McGuigan here, but he had a poor semi last year against Galway. He wasn't great the last in the quarters. He's going to be tormenting himself to play well in that semi-final.
Wasn't it Mark O'Shea? Wasn't it Mark O'Shea who told us at the Football Pod Live that he's always worried about a player who had an off day the day beforehand?
Yeah.
He's marking
Yeah.
the next day.
It's powerful.
Good players and great players don't have 2 bad games in a row.
Yeah, true.
Shane
Be Jason
McGuigan.
Foley.
Shane McGuigan is top class.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He's grade A. He's made of the right stuff. His Ulster Championship this year went up another notch from what he did last season. He was still lording it there yesterday. Just have a bad day in front of the post. We all had it. It can happen. He misses one after him. He's on the 21 and he skews it wide like that. He could take that shot 150 times. He's going to score 149 times. If Derry are going to do anything in this semi-final against Kerry in 2 weeks, it's all going to be hanging on him. But I think he has that. I think he carries that, doesn't he?
He needs a big game.
Good.
Yeah. But you're right.
He's not afraid of the pressure.
No, the best thing about McGuigan is his mentality. You can tell.
Balls.
You can tell he's like McManus there. He wants those big plays, but he's at 1 or 2 bad games at Croke Park. He needs to be top of his game for them to have any chance against Kerry.
Foley's going to go after him.
Yeah, I think Foley and McGuigan's a good matchup. Physically similar.
It's a good matchup, that isn't it? Though, like that's it. I mean, I want to see that.
Save your matchups.
Oh,
Save your
sorry.
matchups, lads. We've another two pods before those games.
Sorry.
Maybe.
Are we done with? Are we talking about the penalties?
Let's. Do you know what? Let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back talking about the penalties, talking about Derry Cork, talking about David Clifford's moment, talking about a few other bits and pieces from the weekend. So you are listening to episode 28 of the Football Pod of Paddy Andrews and James O'Donoghue, brought to you every week by AIB, proud sponsor of the Senior Football Championship. We've got an announcement to make after the break. So stay tuned for that. We'll tease the announcement. Back in a moment. Alright, you're very welcome back to episode 28 of the Football Pod with Paddy Andrews and James O'Donoghue. We've got big news, boys. The Football Pod, have another roadshow coming. Woo! The people have been waiting for this. I've got the details. I'm not sure if I should fully give them yet because tickets aren't going to be released until maybe 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, which is Tuesday. Do you know what? I'll give it to you.
Go on, little treat.
Thursday, the 27th of July.
All-Ireland final week, is it?
Yes.
All-Ireland final week, 3 days before the All-Ireland final.
Go on.
The Football Pod are bringing a roadshow, a live roadshow, an off-air exclusive event
Back to
with,
Clare.
with special guests to Croke Park.
Oh,
We're on the pitch. On the pitch.
We're in
It's
the
like
Hogan,
Taylor Swift.
we're in the Hogan Stand Suite, which has an unbelievable view of the pitch. So we've got a good view of the pitch. It's going to be absolutely unreal.
The
Croker.
Football Pod are going to Croker at All Ireland final week. Oh my God.
It's magic.
That
The
is
Hurling
right,
Pod
John.
boys, we're off to the Board Gosh Energy Theatre. You were asking me, why can't we be there? Well, I went one better, boys.
Croker. We're home, baby.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
That'll be savage.
80,000
The
tickets.
overlooking the field is going to be unreal.
80,000 tickets. We'll be selling out. We've got a
can't wait for
chance.
it. Hopefully we
We're
get
doing two
They'll-
nights.
They'll have to
We're
close
doing
the
two or three nights. Like
It's
Like
only one
Garth
night at the
Brooks.
moment, but it's all depending on ticket demand. So just to let you know, tickets are going to be limited, so they are going on sale on Tuesday. They're going on sale this week, and then we'll have obviously 10 days before the All-Ireland semi-finals. We're going to have a very tight turnaround then to the All-Ireland final. So depending on pairings, we'll have a couple of special guests and we'll let you know who they are after the semi-finals. So,
What golf course are we going hacking up the following day?
We go. We're going to Lutcherstown on the Friday.
beautiful.
I'll bring us to Lutcherstown on the Friday, not morning, maybe lunchtime.
Yeah, sounds good.
Maybe early afternoon. Maybe early.
And is it a
We're doing
prerequisite?
Lutcherstown. I'll sort that. Yeah.
Is it a prerequisite that our guests play golf as well? Or does that matter?
No, I'm open to it. It's the only thing, we may not be able to be as reckless as we were at Clare. We may need to bring the buggy back in one piece. And we might
just
not
back
be
it
able
off.
or back it on, just leaving it in the national park. And we may not be able to drink 400 cans of Bulmers.
But
Are
hey,
Bulmers sponsoring this in conjunction with AIB?
No, AIB are putting the show on off the ball.
We'll do Lutcherstown the next day anyway. Don't worry about that. That's sorted.
Croke
8
Park
days
though,
again.
like, where else would you rather be a few days
I'm
after the
buzzing.
All-Ireland final?
I haven't played in Croke Park in years.
It's going to be unbelievable. So whether it's Monaghan, Dublin, Derry or Kerry, the football pod are going to be there in Croke Park the Thursday night before the All-Ireland final with Paddy James and special guests. And I suppose
Do I get to use
great
the
venue.
Dublin dressing room again?
Yeah, you get to use your dressing room.
I
Your
want to use
dressing
my
room.
own dressing room again. Yeah.
You have your own entrance and your own exit. Didn't you get to
Yeah,
exit? You got to
yeah.
exit down by the Hill 16 end one year, didn't you?
Yeah, so we know all the stewards and all, like all that stuff.
Did you actually
do you
only
know-
have the one dressing room the whole time?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, had to leave all my stuff in there. Yeah. Well, my toiletries and all there for the week. We were in there actually. We did a bit for GA Go, but despite Jimmy trying to stick the knife in here, we were in the Armagh dressing room before myself and Mark did a little bit.
Oh,
Great
yeah?
to be back in there. Yeah, rented it out to Armagh for the day. Yeah.
What the fuck was that in the background?
Oh jeez,
I'm gonna let
Bailey's
Bailey
getting
outside.
excited.
I'm going to let Bailey outside. Hold on. He just heard about the roadshow. Hold on.
Never work with pets, Tommy. Never work with pets.
You heard about the price of the tickets?
It's like these fuckers again. I have the little cat here. George is trying to get up onto my screen here. He's raging as well. He's like, "What are you at?"
He's mad to get involved, isn't he?
Yeah.
What did I miss?
I'm just saying, my cat is looking at me here as well. He's like, yeah, "Have I got tickets for this road show or not?" Like,
Okay. So, yeah, we'll look at that later in the week. So that's details.
I'm buzzing
gonna be
for
announced.
that. I'm buzzing
Yeah,
for
it's going to be
that.
class.
Okay.
I can't wait either. It's going to be unbelievable. So that's that. I enjoyed the bonus pod last week, lads. We had over 60,000 people listening to the football pod last week. So well done, boys. Good news. So it's going to be a very, very busy month. So thanks to everyone for tuning in and staying on top of the pod. So we've talked a bit about McManus and Monaghan and Armagh and what they did wrong. We mentioned the penalties and what went on there. So that game, we've kind of, have we parked that game? Are we sick of talking about that game? Like,
Just a little thought on penalties again. I absolutely loved it in the stadium. My God,
find it cruel,
it's dramatic. You're not for it, no?
well, I'll be honest with you. I was watching on GA Go in Portugal. I was on a beautiful spot, the main bridge overlooking all of Porto. And the coverage is perfect. The 5G in Portugal is obviously grand. But I had one little issue.
What's that brown envelope there behind you?
I had
He's on the fair road. He's like Ryan Tuberty.
Who's your agent?
Don't mention the war, T.
No, what's in
Don't
there?
mention the war.
Hey, I'm all for GA Go for international. I think it's perfect when you're international. There was one issue though.
Just on that, T.
My phone died as it went to sudden death.
You can't blame GA Go on that.
So I took Schiefer's phone for the next two penalties. It
I
died.
worked him. Well,
It
that's your
died.
phone again.
Disaster.
Your phone
So
again. Don't be blaming GA Go. Just on it, because it was the
Didn't
last
get the result
day.
for a few minutes.
It was the last day, GA Go. What a platform that's been.
um,
What a production.
They
the
need
production, brilliant. It's the
Productions,
future.
but I've never seen anything like it.
The future. I'm not sure it's the present, but it's the
Jimmy,
future.
go on. Look, he's smiling away to
No,
himself.
no, just
What a platform.
the internet. I wanted to jump out of that train last day because of the coverage.
But what about the
Just as they were
interviews?
running up and they'd do the backswing for the shot and next thing it would stall for 5 minutes.
Just pay your broadband.
And then when it
Pay
came
the
back on,
broadband, Jimmy.
when it came back on, I started playing the first half of the match.
That was pause, and it was so good. They had to go back. But what about
To
the
be
interviews?
fair, yourselves and RT have had this added addition this year of getting players onto the
We started it. Don't be RT. We started it. Like,
I love the little pat on the backside you gave Clifford as he was going by you. It was a bit like the Mika Richards, Roy Keane stuff. When
I nearly tried to kiss McManus when he came down. It was
I
so
saw
pleasant.
that.
Yeah.
What about Clifford playing down that pass? Like, is he right to play it down? What
That's
is he,
him
like,
though. He's going to play it down. He's
unreal,
actually
isn't he?
embarrassed
He's
about the
unreal.
quality of it. Yeah, he's
It was
just
magic though. It was magic, wasn't it? I didn't get too
We were
excited.
clapping. It was literally like we were clapping. It was just like, that was magic. Like,
Yeah.
like if you look, McNamee and Hampsey are coming in to
Kill him.
absolutely throw him up to the old corner. They're going to try and do him that much. Like, and he sees it coming. I was saying this to John Malloy yesterday. If that was me, I just let it go. I wouldn't even went for it. I was like, no, get away from me. I don't want to. The game was over. And in one move, he's like mid-air, taps it down to himself, swings the leg over the head. Two lads don't know where to look. And Tony Brosnan's in on goal. And the Cliff is just like, sure, all in a day's work.
But even the distance he gets in it. Like, if anyone else would have stuck that with the top of the toe, yeah, or you dribble it along the line or whatever, and you'd still say, do you know, it was a good idea. But for the idea to be right and the execution to be perfect.
Do you know what, though? There was savage pressure on Tony Brosnan. Tony Brosnan
not to
nailed that pass.
F it up. Yeah.
Because
imagine he duffed it like.
It wasn't his best pass.
He got away with it a little bit.
He teased Morgan enough into it to overcommit.
Did he? Or did he just kind of, or was it just a bad pass?
He'd say, I'm going to hang this a little bit so Morgan comes out and misses it.
And Morgan killed someone, yeah. I've been on the end one of them before.
I thought that Morgan was actually going to just take everyone out of it.
Yeah.
Because he probably had a better chance of stopping it than... Once he has it missed, it's a goal. But he was nearly better off cleaning everyone.
But Cliff did come over to do a little bit with GA go. He obviously respects the platform. And he's just a legend, isn't he? Like, already. Like, he's just so... And it's genuine. Do you know the way lads are full of shit, pretend like they know they're unbelievable, but they're kind of hammering up.
No, he's not like
he
that.
is just unbelievable. What? Yeah. He's going to be a handful for any team that plays him. Look, he could be up against the Dubs in a couple of weeks' time as well. It could break your heart.
The Dubs do not have a match up there. If it does go that far,
I don't know. No one has a match up for this guy.
But Derry will get bodies back. Derry's will get bodies back, and they'll all have a cut off him, and it'll be the Jordan rules. They'll just kill him.
Lads, you're getting too excited.
Chrissy McCaig and the Cliff.
Oh yeah.
And the Derry defence around them. That is gonna be.
You don't think it'll be a throwback to the minor final a couple of years ago? Conor McCluskey getting redemption.
McCluskey had only got up to his waist.
I don't think so. 4 goals against them.
Chrissy McCaig is going on Clifford, and that is. Do you know what? If there's one lad, you'd say. If there's one, you could pick anyone to mark the Cliff. You'd go McCaig with the Derry defensive structure around them.
Actually, that is going to be a great matchup.
But couldn't Cliff just go like doing the I took that personally and he'll score 110?
Yeah,
he could go full Michael Jordan on it. Like.
What's he taking personally though?
Just that it's the idea that someone can mark him the audacity. Like, what are you at?
But sure, Michael Jordan used to get. He'd take everything personally. So it didn't even have to be an insult. It could be a compliment. He'd fucking hold it over him for the rest of his life.
But is it? You don't even get the sense Cliff was like that. He doesn't need to be a shithead to be a genius. Like, he's just unbelievable. Like,
no, I don't know what it is that motivates him. Like, you know, he's not
football, doesn't he?
I'd say he just loves it. Yeah,
he just loves.
He's not a jumping out of his skin kind of fella. He's just I'd say he just loves the craft.
That's interesting. That you even like I thought it was maybe a Kerry thing or something but like you still can't fully read it, can you?
Which
Clifford? Just what is that driving him? Like, what's driving Paddy Clifford? Paddy Clifford is like an aggressive animal.
But I mean, they're in the bubble. They love it.
But Paddy Clifford's a normal player, normal person. Like David Clifford is beyond all of us shams. Like,
the best thing about him the weekend, honestly, and it sounds strange, but the fact that he was 1 from 9. I mean, when you're 1 from 4 there, you're thinking, I'll start handing these off. To kick 4 more wides after that are up in the air.
Even his wides are brilliant. His wides are incredible.
Mentality monster stuff, though, isn't it?
If I hit 8 wides in a match, I'd never play again.
And then he still keeps going, and he gets his 1 from play, and he gets that pass off, and he still has an unbelievable contribution.
Morgan made an unbelievable save as well
at the end.
That was a great save.
Amazing save. Yeah. But you know, isn't that the thing with Cliff? And we were there, the 60,000 people in the stadium. You'll remember that, that moment will be, and that's what he does.
Yeah. If you're watching on GA Go, if you're in the stadium, you'll remember that.
If you were rewinded, Jimmy, did that cut out just before on GA?
No, I saw it live. I was all right, even though it was over the other side of the field. I might.
You were over the Cusack stand, were you?
Yeah, I was in the Cusack.
Oh, can't win them all.
Yeah, a bit depressed over that. It was an extra walk into the stadium.
Oh, very nice.
But no, the Cusack is actually warmer.
Yeah, well, sun gets the sun. The Hogan stand is always.
If you're in the press box, you need a full-on parka jacket with hat, gloves, scarf, the whole lot. Like, no matter what the weather is.
I had the Under Armour on yesterday, up in the press box.
Yeah, you'd need it, definitely. And it was lovely.
Can we talk about Derry Cork for a few minutes?
Really?
Yeah.
James, can I give you one stat?
Go on, what?
James, Cork's attack. 33 attacks, 22 shots, 9 scores.
I'm surprised they got 22 shots because it didn't feel like that. I didn't see that stat now, but it didn't feel like that. What I did notice in the first half was Cork had plenty of the ball in attack, and they were nice and patient, and Derry were forcing them out defending very well. But if Cork had a shooter from the 12 position, just left half forward, a nice left-legged shooter there, they would have got a shot off every attack. They kept going over that side, but nobody had a left leg. They kept coming back into the middle, then back over the other side. No one had left leg over the other side either, so back over again. And it was only when they actually got in around the back that they could get fouled or fist a point. It was very hard to watch now. Which just proves you need kit hogs in the field. Like, because they open up a defence. Someone will buy a dummy onto the right and you can swing it with the left. They missed it badly.
It was poor old Killian O'Halloran on that side of the pitch, wasn't it? That's probably not his bag, shooting from out there. But
he had a couple. He had two efforts in the first half, and then he ended up pulling the hammer.
Yeah, we get a lot of stick over predictions, but we need to hold our hands up here and take the credit because we predicted this. Like, it was, they're both going to play the same. Cork are going to be all right. They'll do a lot, but they won't have the scoring power. And what? It was like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah. There was about 54 seconds, though, when Rory Maguire had scored that goal and he blew kisses to the crowd.
Brilliant goal from him again. What a month. He's
Big
kind
fan.
of epitomised. He's epitomised Cork. And you think, that gets back to a point. 47 minutes on the clock.
They're in the game there.
Derry hadn't been great. They hadn't been great. They're kind of plodding along, but that goal goes in, you're like, this is Cork Roscommon again. This is it. The next play. A bit of credit to Conor Doherty's goal, though. What about that? The fake bounce for a wing back. And he nearly scores another one about 2 minutes later as well.
He went trigger happy after that.
All his Christmases came at once. He misses a point as well now. But that goal, like, even if Cork had like a minute, it worked for Cork. However, Mayo get the goal and then Cork go up and get the penalty straight away in the next play, and it kind of brings momentum straight back to. But once Doherty gets that goal, it felt, that was Cork's race run. But look, it wasn't the best spectacle. We knew it wouldn't be. But a little bit of credit, I think. I'll give a bit of credit because Jimmy can't stop giving credit to Cork. John Cleary, and that's a positive 6 weeks for Cork. Remember, we're losing to Clare in the Munster Championship, losing to Meath in the opening game of the National League. To get to the final 8 and put it up to the Ulster champions, there's a lot for Cork to build on. They've got to be looking next season, Division 1. That has to be. It was hard because the Dubs and Derry were in Division 2 this year. You always felt no matter what, those two teams were going to get promoted. For Cork, we need more teams at the top table. And Cork,
100%.
You're seeing a glimpse of an atmosphere in Porky Queeve and beating the Rossies. Imagine getting Cork, even for you guys, Jimmy, to have the Munster Championship back like that, like it was in 09, 10, 11, those years. But there's a lot to work on, or to work with, for Cork going into 2024.
Tell you what, though, they've got the athleticism. They need a couple of forwards. When they get Sean Meehan back, they'll have a right clatter of good defenders. Got a good goalkeeper there in Martin. Midfield, like Maguire and O'Callaghan did really well on Glass and Rogers for a
and
good
Rory
chunk of that
Dean
game
had
yesterday.
an excellent game, I thought.
He's
But just
back
doesn't have a shot in him.
Yeah,
Conor
O'Driscoll-
Glass was very good yesterday, lads.
Who?
Yes.
Conor Glass was very good yesterday.
The boys broke even, though, for the first 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah, Rogers came into it a lot in the second half, but I thought Conor Glass, when Derry weren't going great, he's a player, lads. He's a player.
Yeah.
He's a player.
Right.
Callahan got 2 points off him. He definitely attacked him, went at him, and got his reward from it.
He went. They got a break in the first half. I think it was. I actually wrote it down here. It was about 7 or 8 minutes in, and O'Callaghan's going through, and Derry's defence is kind of just cut open at once, and he's 1-on-1 with Glass, and he's running at him. And Glass is backing into the 21. You're going, he's under pressure here. What defender? Glass ends up dispossessing him, breaking out with it. It was a brilliant textbook defender. Have a look at that if you're a young lad.
He's excellent at covering the defence, isn't he? That's actually his thing. He's a pure 8. He's a defensive midfielder, but he can get up for a score.
Yeah.
Whereas,
he was very good again yesterday.
Yeah, he gives Rogers license then to just... And Rogers is like Sean Kavanagh with the score. He just lines him up, shimmies to the right and over. He just has it. It's almost impossible to stop.
What a weekend for midfielders, the traditional midfielders. Is that what we're getting back?
Yeah.
Could be.
Glass,
like it.
Rogers, McCarthy, Dermot O'Connor.
Yeah.
Dermot O'Connor, Kerry.
Brian Fenton had a great game as well. I had a
Second
really
half.
like his
Second
aggression in that second half. I actually thought Dermot O'Connor was going really well in the first half. I tweeted it, and then just the lads just took over McCarthy.
You gave him the commentator's curse.
Yeah, I give Conroy the commentator's curse as well.
Been there before.
So yeah, there was another, like, we're nearly finished here, lads. Paddy, you got to get the bike row ski. You're probably going to make it at this stage, you know.
Well, we keep talking more shite here. I'm guilty of it
There
myself.
was just Mayo went scoreless from the 23rd to the 43rd minute. Like, Dublin won the game in that spell. Kerry had a similar spell against Tyrone, where I think they scored 1-8. Tyrone hadn't scored for 20 minutes as well. Paddy,
I have a stat here. Do you want to hear
go
it?
for it.
Here's something I
Question.
prepared earlier.
Yeah, question. Where did I see this? I seen it somewhere today. Yesterday was Mayo's heaviest championship defeat since when?
2000.
You
Oh,
read this, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
2004 against Kerry.
2006 against Kerry.
That's why Tommy's his presenter.
Tommy heard that stat already.
That's their biggest defeat. I couldn't believe that. Since 2006.
I thought
So
Kerry
all the
battled them last
positives,
year.
all the positivity of and the good stuff which Mayo did do in the spring, winning the National League. Imagine the buzz around the place. Okay, they shit the togs against Roscommon in the first stage championship, come back and eviscerate Kerry and Killarney. They're thinking, here we go. And for to finish that, their biggest defeat since 2006 in the championship. What a-
That is magic.
I
The
thought
thing
he
about
was-
the National League. The thing about the National League, and I asked a few people. I went out for a few pints after the game Saturday,
Okay.
and I
where? Go on.
Huh?
Where'd you go?
Where?
I went to Dan in his bar in Killarney, as per
Nice pal.
McSweeney's Arms.
Have they put pictures up in Dan Lenihan's yet?
Yeah, out the front, just a massive poster like that one. One of Ted Curley kicking your man up the arse.
I have a great photo of the two of you.
And Jimmy's
with
dad.
O'Donoghue. Yeah, Jimmy
Yeah,
O'Donoghue.
great
Must put
photo.
that
I'll
up.
have it here with Phil. That should be up behind the bar in Lenihan's.
He put manners on you that night, Paddy. Jesus Christ.
Not at all.
I know.
But anyway, I asked a few people. I said, "Who won the National League? 1, 2, 3," and they were going, "Who the fuck won the National League?" Like, and no, it doesn't matter.
The Rossies win it.
It genuinely doesn't matter, like, does it? No, it's everyone knows who won the other Ireland
Oh,
for the last 20 years in a row. But winning
One
the National
episode, Tommy, put this up and like split screen. James O'Donoghue, the winner of the All Ireland is coming from Connacht. Do you remember that quote?
I do.
Yeah, I want
3
that
weeks
split
ago.
screen just with that clip there.
Tommy told me
3
to say
weeks.
that. He told me to
3
say that.
weeks ago. 3 weeks is all that was, Jimmy.
And there was
Wow.
3 of them left in it. Fuck.
Not anymore, baby. Not anymore,
So
baby.
much changed.
Do you know what?
In-
What threw that whole thing was Galway, Armagh. Well, if Aidan Shea kicked, they were 3 down to Cork, right? Mayo. If he kicked the free that they dropped into the square over the bar, he'd have come second.
Yeah.
But they didn't know that at the time, and it would have set the championship off in a different.
Apparently, mixed messages came in from the sideline, which is like, apparently he was told to kick it dead.
You're going after
Whatever that
McStay here
means.
tonight, Tommy. You've an
I'm not
agenda
going after
going
McStay. I'm not going after McStay, but I did feel like he was a little
I
bit
think
too upbeat.
you're going after McStay. Look at this.
I did feel. I'm
But
not
he's
going after McStay.
he's
But I did feel like he was too
playing
upbeat.
to,
I know he's
playing
like
to the
that.
gallery there.
What gallery though? Like what gallery? I think you can.
McStay is upbeat though. He's been like that all season. I think
is
he's been a
upbeat,
bit of a
yeah.
fresh air. I agree. I think there's some of the matchups were questionable. I think the Aidan O'Shea thing.
He was trying to.
The
I think
the
he was
wheels
trying
came
to
off that,
retire
whether
Aidan
that's-
Shea by taking him off there. Like he's trying to get him off. Jesus
There
Christ.
he is, the main man.
Yeah, Bailey reckons he's too upbeat as well.
Is that a lipstick?
Anyway, so tell me, before we finish up, what are we saying about Mayo? Are we giving the final word to Mayo's demise on this week's football pod?
I think we're going to stick with that. Yeah, I feel like
Where do Mayo
feel
go
like-
from here?
I think Mayo were fine. What cost Mayo was not winning the group. They had the chance. They'd beaten Kerry, took their eye off the ball, didn't win the group, and they paid the price later on. They didn't lose that game. They didn't get knocked out of the championship the last day. They actually fucked it up a couple of weeks before that. Yeah,
Gaelic
that's what I
Football
think.
cost them, didn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, like would we feel different about Kerry this weekend going into their All Ireland semi final if they had finished second in the group and had to win another game? You'd be thinking they don't have the rhythm that you guys spoke about, the 2 weeks.
Well, we don't know, T.
You know,
This is the first season of it. I
time.
tell you what, every team next season is going to be going, we've got to win that group. We're hooker by crook. We're not going through the back door. Get rid of the National League. Teams don't even play the National League by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mayo won't be top of that league next year.
No chance.
And
Ross
McStay
Collins
has been
probably
given
will.
The Rossies will win it. The Rossies will win it, and they're going as favourites for the All-Ireland.
McStay has been given a 4-year term though, so like that's where that is. Yeah, we might do a little report card on the rest of the teams and how their year felt or left. Maybe the top 8, maybe how they look back in it. Maybe the top 12 in a couple of weeks.
Maybe top 16.
Maybe the top 32. So, lads, I've enjoyed this pod. Nice to be doing it when we're all sitting down, relaxed, and not on the move. So
not hungover, not travelling, and look at the content we create.
we have got an All-Ireland minor final this Sunday. I know it's a hurling weekend, but Derry Monaghan are playing on Sunday in the athletic ground. So keep an eye out on that one.
Why
It's
is
gonna
that
be
not
live.
Croker?
I don't know. They've messed that up. It's live in TG Carr.
The minor final should be in Croker. They should do a triple header. Minor final, Talton Cup, and then
That's the
Dublin
best thing
Monaghan.
about playing minor is you get to run out in Croker.
They have it in the athletic grounds. That's you train in that place, like.
Worst thing that ever happened to us, we were in an All-Ireland final with the same Hogan Cup final, and Croke Park was being done up, and we played it in Portlaoise. And do you know what? It just sucked all the goodness out of an All-Ireland final.
How much is lose by?
Pint. To Tyrone, actually. Even though they had an extra half a year. They
You
had an
just
extra 6
hate.
months.
You hate education level football. Like that ruined
No,
your approach to the
I
citizen
love
level
Hogan
as
Cup.
well.
I love Hogan Cup.
Even after that, even after being bumped out to Port Leash and losing by a pint.
Yeah, but it's still a great journey. Like, whereas Sigerson is just in the way.
Oh, this is content for another pod too.
We'll come back to this, lads. This is episode 28 of the Football Pod. They were the quarterfinals last weekend. We have got Down against Meath in the Tailteann Cup final on the 15th of July. Dublin Monaghan taking place later that afternoon in Croke Park. Then on the Sunday, we've got Derry against Kerry in the second All-Ireland Senior Football Championship semi-final. As we mentioned before, the Football Pod Live Roadshow is going to be in Croke Park in the Hogan Stand Suite on Thursday, the 27th of July.
We're
that
back,
is gonna
baby.
Be great. So, tickets are going on sale this week. Keep an eye out for that. I think they're going to be 20 quid. So hopefully we'll see you all there. The last few shows have been sold out. This one is going to go
Football
fast.
Pod Festival
Hey,
for the whole 4-day festival for the weekend.
James, what's the story? Are you playing ball this week? Are you training, or are you all taking a step back now till Kerry are knocked out?
We've one more county league game, and then we've championship after Kerry are finished. I'm not sure. I think it's after
Week
the
after.
All-Ireland. I'd say, yeah, 2
Week
weeks.
after
We have
the
2 week
Derry
break. Maybe after once Kerry are finished.
7th of July.
Actually, be the
Paddy,
week.
you're-
No, it won't be the weekend of the All-Ireland. So yeah, 2 weeks after the All-Ireland final. Let's say.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Nice
Paddy,
break.
you're off to West Clare later this week. We might meet for coffee.
Oh,
See how you get on. See how you're
But
getting
you
on.
need to figure out some spots, me there. You weren't
I'll
very
get
helpful
you.
there. Like.
I'll get you a list.
No,
I'll
he
get
didn't
you a
have a
list.
clue. He
Sorry.
hadn't left the house since he got up there.
Jesus Christ! Like.
Can I just mention earlier on when you said what was the score of the game in the Monaghan Armagh game? I thought you were going to say Darren Hughes' catch to lay it off to Gary Mohan. That was an unbelievable clutch moment as well.
I was talking
Do you
about
remember that?
mad Tommy. Come on.
Fair enough. That's my bad.
Jesus Christ! What are we working with here?
Okay, boys. We'll leave it at that. I'm going to go back and make my edits on any mistakes I made this week on the pod.
Nah,
And,
keep them in, T. You got to be real. You got to be
Okay.
real.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. James, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. See you, boy.
Paddy, Gormalgus.
Good night,
Fair play,
lads.
fella.
Great
See you
Thanks,
later.
boys.